What do we have, a Scorpio? The Devil, Capricorn energy at the foundation of the reading, followed by the Four of Wands, Aries energy at the sacral. Scorpio, I've been collecting downloads for this reading for the past few days, but it all began a few days ago when I woke up from a dream. In this dream, there was a lot of cheering taking place. It was on astral. It was spirit guides or ancestors, just mobs and mobs of people cheering. And I became overwhelmed emotionally. And then I woke up still feeling this overwhelming sense of emotion. I sat there for a minute and I was trying to compartmentalize what it was that was taking place. And then it came to me a few minutes later that there's some sort of major shift that has taken place inside the Scorpio collective. Now, it's not uncommon to talk about cycles that we're closing out and new chapters that we're stepping into on new timelines. This is all very common, but this was different. This was really big, Scorpio. And one of the other downloads I received was in regards to you breaking out of some sort of hermit mode that I feel a lot of you have been in for quite some time. But when it comes to these cycles that we close out, Scorpio, there's a lot of fear that's also associated with this, but it's residual in nature. It's all to do with the cycle that we're moving on from. The Devil at the foundation of the reading, I feel, is an energy that's exposing itself to you. Some sort of fear, some sort of restriction has had the spotlight put on it. It's as if you can finally see things for what they really are now, Scorpio, and you're beginning to push through this energy, which has taken us to the Four of Wands, an energy of celebration. That's that cheering that I heard, felt, and saw in my dreams on astral. I feel that it's as if you've created this safe space for yourself where everything's been going really well for you. And now the divine is trying to get you to expand. The divine needs you in a very specific location. Some of you could actually be moving or wanting to move. There's just something that is trying to shift, Scorpios, but it takes you actually getting up and charging forward now. You have free will, but you must meet the divine halfway. Some of you could be traveling. Some of you could be taking a vacation. There's something here. There's movement here. But this movement is going to position you to receive a very important download about your mission statement that is all connected to this new timeline you're stepping into. And that really says it all, Scorpio. So if I was to simplify everything I just channeled through, it's that the divine needs you in a very specific space, location, energy, take it as it fits, vibration even, so you can receive some sort of download. Right now, I'm seeing somebody sit on a beach and staring out at the ocean and receiving a download from the divine, something you've been waiting for, an answer to a question, guidance about how you're to move next. What do we have, the solar plexus, please? Oh, wow. Unbelievable. King of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy at the solar plexus. And on this King of Swords, see, he doesn't have his sword yet. The divine is handing it to him. And see how that actually looks like the Ace of Swords, right? So it's the precursor to the King of Swords. So here you are in this allocated position that the divine is trying to guide you to move into. And I'm really noticing the dirt underneath his feet as well. It's almost like an energy of grounding, right? Grounding in the earth. That could be a message as well. But the Ace of Swords, which is coming in, is the mental clarity, is some sort of new idea, some sort of blueprint on how you're to move, King of Swords, which is all about taking some sort of quick action. You receive something that you weren't able to access in the space you're in right now, in that safe space. It's like you have to break out of the confines of your own safety, Go out into the world, Scorpio, to discover some sort of hidden treasure. But the hidden treasure, I feel, is a message. And that King of Swords is coming out right at that solar plexus position, energy of finding your power. Some of you have been trying to decide on something. You know, a very general example of this would be wanting to move, maybe out of the city you're in or maybe even the state, but you're conflicted. You're going back and forth. You don't know where you want to move to. So the divine is saying to you, hey, look, let's take a time out. Instead of obsessing over this move you want to make, why don't we go take a much needed break? Maybe a vacation for some of you. Get into, wow, I just heard get into the water. That was very clear. I wanted to say elements, but then immediately I heard water. Some of you, I feel, literally need to go and get in a lake or the ocean, something. Of course, you are a water sign, Scorpio, so it makes sense. But it's like it does something to you. It recalibrates you. For some of you, it's been a really long time, I feel, since you've maybe gotten in the ocean or gotten in water. I just heard water that's actually on the earth. So I guess the channeling is basically saying not a bathtub, right? You need to be with Mother Nature. And Scorpio, when it comes to the fear that may be connected to taking this action to break out of this kind of hermit or just this kind of safe zone you're in, you really need to try and embrace the present, embrace the moment. This is a really quick way to try and overcome fear. Just become completely present in whatever you're doing. This is also Stoic philosophy. And no matter what it is you may be doing, it could be something completely insignificant, sweeping a floor or cleaning your house. Maybe it doesn't really hold any sort of seemingly spiritual value to it. But the point is to just embrace and become completely absorbed in that moment. And I feel that this is coming through because this is what's going to help you to break out of this safe zone that you've been existing in for so long, Scorpios. You know, being that you're fixed, Scorpio, when you find a safe space, you're quite okay just staying there, but you're needed other places, Scorpios. You know, as a Scorpio myself, this is something that I also am faced with. I like my comfort. I like my safe zones, but all the time, Spirit, the divine, is calling me to put myself in different spaces and energies because I'm needed in those places. You have a significance to you, Scorpio. There's something about your energy and your vibration that has an influence on the people that are around you. I mean, this really goes without saying, but I think you need to remember this. You really are a gift. Now, a lot of people may not tell you this, Scorpios, because they don't realize how much of a gift you are until you're gone. You enact change in people's lives, whether they know it or like it. You are the death card. You are the embodiment of transformation. You reflect individuals' image back onto them. Because the Scorpio energy is so deeply emotional and empathetic that you absorb all the emotions of the people around you, whether it be good or whether it be bad. And a lot of the time, Scorpios, you have a way of mirroring people's traits back to them. Again, reflecting back to them the shadow that they've always been afraid to face. That's you. A lot of the times, it's not even until years later do people start to realize that you're the greatest friend they ever had. You're the only family member that really cared about them. But now you're gone, and they have no clear path back into your life because, unfortunately, a lot of these people form weapons against you. They turn you into their mortal enemy, only because you wanted to help them, only because you wanted to love them and bring out the absolute best in them. You see, that says it all right there. Scorpios recognize the absolute best in individuals and want to bring it out. But unfortunately, a lot of these people, Scorpios, aren't ready for that. And they end up attacking you and bringing out the absolute worst in you, which automatically turns you into their enemy. But now, Scorpios, I feel that you've gotten to the point where you're starting to have a deeper understanding of how this works. You know when to remove yourself now. You may not even know this yet yourself, but the divine is calling on you to trust yourself, that your healing that you've been doing all this time has been solidified. You're good to go, is what I just heard, Scorpio. You need to trust yourself enough to start getting back out there into the world, however that may be showing up for you, and reintegrating your energy because it's desperately needed at this point in time. This is a message for people that are here for a bigger purpose, are here to help people awaken to the true value of their own spirit. You are a waymaker, Scorpio. You're a chosen individual that was sent here to help heal this world. But the way you heal is different, Scorpio. You understand that in order to heal, you must go through the darkness, right? Healing is painful because you, more than anyone, know that the only way you heal yourself is by facing off with the shadow side of yourself and making peace with it. Not being afraid of it. There's nothing to be afraid of. The whole purpose of this is to create balance. And that's where you're at now, Scorpios. You are the soldier of awakening and balance. And that's what you were sent here to bring into other individuals' lives. 5 of Wands, Leo energy on the bottom of the deck. So this is really reiterating what I just said here about people turning you into their mortal enemy simply because you want to bring out the best in them. What do we have at the heart, please? 9 of Swords, Gemini energy at the heart. Scorpios, I had another dream last night, and immediately when I woke up from it, I thought of all of you. In this dream, I was killing a snake. Now, killing a snake in your dream is a symbol of strength and power. It represents your ability to overcome obstacles and fear. Okay, so follows that 5 of Wands that I just saw on the bottom of the deck perfectly. And it brings me to my next subject here in regards to not taking the signs and downloads literally that you're seeing, Scorpios. Have a little deeper look into things, right? Because at first, when I woke up from that dream, I was like, what was that? And my immediate thought was, oh man, it's probably something negative. And I was surprised when I started to do some research on it. It wasn't negative at all. It was actually very positive, okay? So there may be some things happening around you right now, Scorpio, but these are all indicating some sort of change that is preparing to unfold in your lives. Now, the 9 of Swords is clearly speaking about all of this because it's an energy that's calling you to, again, face your fears and to try and look at things from a different perspective, Scorpios. It's as if the divine is speaking to you in code right now. There's a lot happening around the world as well, and this is actually something I just picked up in the Pisces reading that I did right before this one, and the Gemini reading that I did a couple of days ago. There's been a sense of impending doom inside the entire collective, and interestingly enough, between the Pisces reading and this reading, I was taking a break, and the Trump assassination attempt happened, and I was blown away because immediately after I started to see that footage, this sense of impending doom went away. And although this is something that is not directly connected to you, Scorpios, it's happening inside the collective. There's so much going on globally right now that it's impossible for it to not have some sort of incremental effect on each one of our lives, okay? You know, what we're seeing take place on the world stage right now is surreal. It's just completely absurd. I quite often talk about how things that take place on the world stage are like kabuki theater. And I think that the most important thing to remember, Scorpio, is that you need to really focus on what you can control in your own life, because there's this sense that collectively we are really manifesting ourselves onto a timeline that is in accordance with our visions for ourselves and our future. I'm picking up something surrounding remote viewing, okay? So in saying all that, and to kind of simplify what I'm trying to get out here, Scorpios, it's really important that you have a very positive, very clear vision for where you would like to see yourself in the future. Now, this sounds like it directly conflicts with what I said about being present right now in this very moment, but it actually doesn't, because when you're present in the moment, what you'll find is your ultimate destination becomes clearer to you because you're releasing the fear in the here and now, which releases the fear of you in that future position. Right? It's like you're a time traveler, Scorpio. Do you see why it's so important to remain present in the here and now? Because if your here and now is suffocated by fear, what does that vision of you in the future look like? It's the result of that suffocating fear that you're experiencing right now. So again, remember, remain present in this very moment, in the here and now, without fear, so you can remote view, or rather get a clear vision of yourself at that future point. And this is Visual Manifestation 101. Always manifest from a place of having no fear and be present in the moment. You can take it one step further and say that being present in the here and now without fear allows you to release any sort of fear and trauma from the past. Forgiveness becomes something that you access with ease because you're not consumed by that past event by still remaining in it, right? You're no longer allowing it to affect you. And this is connecting to everything we're saying here about becoming one with the earth and Mother Nature and getting out and soaking your bones, Scorpios, right in the salt water or lake somewhere. It's all connected. I feel like this reading is hopping around onto different parts of the timeline, Scorpios, trying to connect the dots so you can make your way through to the other side in a very cohesive manner. It's as if the way Spirit wants me to deliver this download to you is in a way where you can consider all of these different positions, which will allow you the necessary tools to step into the new timeline. Beautiful. What do we have at the throat, please? 5 of Cups at the throat. Shadow Scorpio energy. This is really following everything I'm saying here. And there's a few things going on here, right? This is obviously you, Scorpio, right? Or a version of you. We see an individual back here drowning, but it's like you're turning a blind eye or your cheek to this energy, right? There's also these 3 cups that are spilled out, right? So this could be something that let you down, right? It's an energy of grief or loss. Could be connected to that person there. But then there's these 2 cups behind you that are standing, right? That have yet to be filled. And I feel that this is somehow speaking about these different positions on the timeline, the past, present, and future. Scorpio, I feel that this card right here is saying that if you are living in fear in the present moment, that you are drowning in the traumas of the past position. The present is what heals all positions of you on the timeline. And I just heard, you can't manifest the future position when you can't overcome the fear that you're facing in the present. So all of your focus, Scorpio, right now needs to be on the moment. It's the only way to conquer and clear, right? This is all about clearing, I feel, these other positions of yourself. And this is what this grounding that I'm picking up on is going to allow you to do, right? It's like a calibration of self. Scorpio, in my mind's eye, I'm seeing the divine touch you on your crown chakra with a tuning fork, right? It's like you're being vibrationally calibrated. This is what it's all about right now. You see, this timeline we're on, this reality we're living in, it's complete chaos. So the importance of this reading is going to be a crucial component to all of your path moving forward, because this is how you're going to rewrite the code moving forward and align with the timeline that is in accordance with the calibrated version of you. The world we live in right now wants us to be stuck in fear, wants us to be overwhelmed with grief and just loss and regret. It's being force-fed to us everywhere we turn, which is leading to this sense of impending doom. But as a collective, Scorpio, we actually have the power together to understand the importance of the moment in the here and now, because this gives us the power to remote view the future position and rewrite the script. If we all do this together, the horrors of the current world become a fading memory. It will be as if they never even happened. This is exactly what timeline jumping is. This is what remote viewing is all about. See, each one of us has the power to manifest our own experience. We know this, right? But then there's the experience of the collective mind, which we all play an incremental part of. So if you can just have a think about what it is I'm presenting to you here, Scorpio, because right now, each one of you is needed to help create this shift. You know, it's like they say, every vote counts, right? Which I understand that this day and age that can probably be argued, but it's besides the point. It's just the whole meaning, right? But for us here, Scorpios, it's an energy of every vibration counts, right? Every Scorpio counts. And there's that Ace of Swords on the bottom of the deck, right? Like I said, Ace of Swords coming in from the divine right there. And now we see it here, okay? And you can see we have the eagle here too, which the eagle is represented by Scorpio, right? The phoenix rising from the ashes, right? The ashes of the past. So there's something that's being prepared here, Scorpio, right? Now, this can be seen as like Sword of Excalibur, right? But it all represents some sort of mental strength. What do we have at the third eye, please? Two of Pentacles. Capricorn energy at the third eye. See, this is where I feel we are right now. I think I saw this in the Pisces reading as well. I think the Five of Cups came out in that reading also. I don't think the Two of Pentacles came out. I think I saw it on the bottom of one of the decks and spoke about it. But whatever the case, I could be wrong there. This is representing you essentially between worlds, right? It's like here's the past, here's the future, here's you in the present, right? And this is a karmic loop, a karmic knot, so to speak. It's a cycle. And it's showing us that you are in a position to where you can take any position you want here. But see how you're looking at that future position there? So you understand that the future position is the goal, but it's all about showing up to that allocated position in the here and now. This is a very deep reading. It's like an energy of rewriting the history, Scorpio. You know, and this can really speak about what we're seeing globally. We're witnessing something that is completely unsustainable. It's not difficult to see where we're going to be a year, maybe 2 years from now, if things continue the way they are, right? I don't think that there's a single person listening to this right now that can agree with at least that. You'd have to be living in La La Land to think that the state of the world is great. We are on the verge of collapse. We all know that. We all feel it. We all see it. But this whole reading is speaking about each one of you as a kind of savior. See, there's not just one savior. It takes a lot more than just one single individual to help turn it all around. Sure, I know that some people may argue with that, but it's a collective web of people who help bring forward the real change. And based on this reading, Scorpios, and what I've been feeling, starts with all of you. Imagine if each one of you is listening to your higher guidance and going out into your own waking lives and entering into these allocated positions where the divine needs you. And you're working in that space, collecting the downloads and moving the way the divine needs you to move. You see, there's a mechanics to our reality in specific spaces at specific times doing specific things. And there's not really any way for us to understand what this is, but what we can understand is just be there when we are called upon. So in saying all of this, Scorpios, now is a time for action. Now is a time to make your move, however that shows up for you. And don't measure the moves that you're being called to make. It's not up to you to do that, okay? Because you don't know what kinds of domino effects your moves can possibly make. There's no measure to any of this. The divine doesn't care how famous somebody is or how rich somebody is. This has nothing to do with any of it. Your value is all based on your spirit. Your value is all based on being a willing vessel for the divine's will for your life, and understanding that in order to fulfill your mission, you must be on standby at all times and make that move when you're being called to do so. Two of Pentacles at the third eye. What do we have at the crown, please? Wow. And there it is. See how everything's coming together? We just saw that Ace of Swords on the bottom of the deck, right? The Ace of Swords, we had the eagle, right? And the sword. Now here you are with the sword with the eagle. Right? This is before. This is after. Before tarot, after tarot. See, this whole reading is about a download. That's what all this is about. Getting present in the here and now to receive this download. See, for a lot of you as well, it's coming through as parts, right? Maybe one part will come through the dream space. Maybe one part will come through when you submerge yourself in some water, right? In the ocean or a lake or something. Get underneath the sun and meditate. There's just something here about, it's like finding Easter eggs. You know, I mean, this person is clearly standing on a beach. But all of this is made possible by listening, Scorpios, to your higher guidance. If the divine is calling you to go somewhere, you need to do whatever you can to make it happen. And some of you may say, well, I can't do that because of this and that and the other. What I found, Scorpios, those obstacles that you may see on your path will be cleared out of your way if you just get up and start making the move. Like magic, things will just become easier for you to access, right? Which speaks about the divine guiding you. Divine guidance. You may see an obstacle there now, but when you get up and take action, you will find that that obstacle that was in front of you was a mirage. It never existed because, like magic, it will dissolve and move out of your way. What do we have at the foundation, please? 5 of Swords, Aquarius energy at the foundation of the reading. Subnuk. This 5 of Swords is speaking about a kind of termination, Scorpios. It's energy of ending unhealthy relationships in your life. It's also speaking about you being open to change, right? I feel like there's some sort of energy here that the divine is trying to break you out of. It's as if you went into this space to collect yourself, maybe go into hermit mode. But now the safety of your circumstances is beginning to turn sour, is what I just heard, right? I just heard apathy. You know, apathy is an energy of boredom. It can mean energy where you're feeling really unfulfilled. But I feel in your case, Scorpio, because there's safety attached to this and because you kind of know what to expect, it's as if you just stay there, right? And look, this is very, very easy to do in the climate of the world right now because of the uncertainty everywhere. But you also have to understand that fear breeds fear. And when you stay in this energy, you're just manifesting more of that into your life. If we want to see change in our own lives in the world, then we have to take action. It's just how it is, okay? And I know that can seem overwhelming, but it's truth. When you move, the collective shifts. Because remember, you are a part of the mechanics of the universe. You're not meant to stay stuck and stagnated. You're meant to live your life and bring influence into the lives of others, whether it be good or bad from their perspective. You just need to make sure that you're ready to be called to duty at all times. Because this stuck energy of apathy, this is devil energy, right? It didn't start off that way, but like I said, it goes past the point of, say, a hermit mode. It just now starts creeping into the space of shadow kind of energy because you're manifesting that reality on the fear surrounding taking action. It's just a self-fulfilling prophecy is really what it comes down to. If we can all start to understand this and truly recognize that our reality is a direct reflection on how we choose to live our lives, because it's all connected incrementally and collectively, we can begin to shift this pretty quickly. What do we have? The sacral, please? Oh, wow. Unbelievable, Scorpio. Everything we're saying here is right on target. The Hermit, Furcus. Now, this Hermit is exactly what I said. It's like staying there for too long. Now you're working against the tide, so to speak, right? Whenever I see this Hermit, it's like somebody who is going in the wrong direction of their path, thinking they're going in the right direction. Oh, I'll just stay here in Hermit mode for the rest of my life because I'm safe here. I know what to expect. But this is not your path, Scorpio. It's like you're settling with a mediocre version of what your life is truly meant to be. Who's ever heard of a Scorpio who's settled for the mediocrity? It just doesn't even make any sense. Scorpios are so polarized. You're either in your shadow or you're charging forward in energy of purpose. You may hit that middle point for a moment just to recalibrate yourself, right? Can be that moment of hermit mode, but you got to come out eventually, Scorpios, because you're being charged up. You're being transformed for something. It's not for nothing. You are the 8th house of transformation. You are the example by which the divine uses for all others to follow, right? Just like I said in regards to you being that kind of tower energy in people's lives, right? That is your energy, the tower. Mars, Aries, Scorpio energy. You bring change into people's lives, whether good or bad. That is what you are here for. You are used by the divine as a vessel of change, destruction, upheaval, transformation, waking people up and forcing them to remember who they are by the way you move in your own life. See, Scorpio, your energy intimidates people because you are the truth personified. And as we know, most people can't accept the truth. So it's like you burn their eyes. They hate you for being this person. A lot of you have been cast out by friends groups, families. The Scorpio energy is under constant attack. And it's not until you begin to wake up to this fact does the divine begin to come through and protect you, right? See, there's no mercy for the Scorpio energy. The divine needs you to wake up to this truth. So they'll allow for these attacks to come through until you understand how powerful you are and you meet the divine halfway. And then the cloak of protection will come through. And as a Scorpio, I've been through this. Divine was trying to wake me up to my path for years and years. I didn't want to hear it. It was just too much to even try and compute, and a lot of it as well has a kind of fantasy attached to it. It's like you're delusional for even thinking that that's what you're here to do, right? But then all of a sudden, you're pushed to the edge. You're left no choice. You're like, fine, divine, just use me. What do you want me to do? And then you start to realize that the fantasy, the delusion that you thought surrounded the way the divine wanted you to move was actually a reality. It's actually true. See, the Scorpio energy is that of the superhero. You are the antihero is what it comes down to. I've spoken about this in tons of Scorpio readings. But the easiest way to really overcome the fear, Scorpio, is to connect with Source. You have to. What you'll start to find is when you start carving out time for spiritual matters, whether it's meditation, prayer, whatever you choose to do, you'll find that the divine will actually show up for you. There'll be a lot of spiritual activity taking place in your life. You'll start to feel truly connected to Source and the divine. And it's actually very easy for you to access, Scorpio. You just have to be dedicated. That's it. But again, this hermit here speaks about isolation, loneliness, completely withdrawing from life, right? So the divine will put you in hermit mode to heal you, and then they'll call for you to start coming out of that space. But then the fear will creep in, that something from the past will repeat itself. So in fear, you say, you know what, I'm good here. I'm happy, just live out the rest of my days here by myself. It's fine. I'm cool. I got everything I need. So you abandon your station, so to speak, for the sake of what you think is safety, when it's really just isolation. See, there's a difference between solitude and isolation. Solitude is a hermit energy. Isolation is a hermit in reverse energy. Solitude is when you reconnect with Source, you start to understand enough of your personal truth to realign with your mission and purpose. You start to refine your intuition and your inner compass. It's like spiritual boot camp. But then there's this hermit in reverse, isolation. This is not good. You have now withdrawn from life. It can be seen as defecting from the divine. I mean, if you're not working for the divine, then, well, I probably don't even need to finish what I was going to say, Scorpio. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Oh, wow. This card literally completed what I was going to say. If you're not working for the divine, then who are you working for? King of Wands, Asmodeus. See, this is interesting because we're seeing here that the divine is calling upon you, right? But your non-action causes you to relinquish your position, which causes this devil energy to come through. That devil energy is the energy that says, you know what, I'm fine here. This is a part of the awakening process. We all are faced with this, right? But it's an energy of weakness, Scorpio, and that's not your energy. It can also be an energy of you saying you're not ready yet, right? When I'm seeing very clearly that you are. Your work, wherever you are, is done. It's time to move on to the next chapter. It's time to up the ante. It's time to mix it up, Scorpio. What do we have at the heart, please? Wow. Andras. This is the Chariot, Cancer energy. It says right there, folly. So this is Chariot in its negative polarity, okay? It's an energy of giving up. It's also an energy of making up excuses. So, oh, I can't do that because I have this I have to deal with, right? It can be an energy of lacking focus or some sort of travel issues, right? It goes back to what I said about you feeling like there's obstacles on your path, but once you actually make the decision to charge forward, the divine clears that path for you, okay? But there's some sort of subconscious fear here, which is creeping in. The energy I'm starting to pick up on is so interesting because it's like the divine healed you or put you in the energy of healing. Said, okay, Scorpio, it's time to disengage now, time to move on. But you refuse. You say, no, I'm going to stay here. And the divine's like, no, you can't stay in this space any longer. It's going to start having a negative effect on your healing. You're going to start manifesting a version that's against yourself. There's, I feel, a word, I think, or a phrase that's connected to what it is I'm trying to articulate, but it escapes me right now, Scorpio, which could be a message in and of itself. You refuse to recognize this, that the healing is now working against you. It's like over-calibrating or over-polishing something or just doing something in excess to where it begins to have a negative effect. Oh, interesting. This example might allow some of you to understand what it is I'm trying to say, okay? But it's like somebody cleaning a window, and the window's clean, but they just keep cleaning it, right? Obsessively, and then they just end up breaking the window, right? This is what I'm getting here. Folly. And you know, Scorpio, I think that actually explains it all, right? Folly, right? Holding the pursuit of truth in contempt by choosing to make your own path. That's it. That says it all. But now, We have Six of Swords, Annuel, perception of unity. So what we're seeing here, Scorpio, is you actually move. You take the passage forward, which is your rite of passage. And after all of this talk about moving, we get the card of movement. Six of Swords represents relocation, moving, travel, whatever it is you're being called to do. But it's a necessary transition to be able to step into this new timeline. And it's right here, dead center of the reading, underneath the Nine of Swords at the heart. And it's taking us into the outcome, right? So this is the basic narrative, the top row. This is the resistance, shadow, demon-like energies, okay? Then we go demon, angel. The angels are into the outcome, so we're bridging it here. So you don't go into this energy of folly. You remove yourself. And the energy is starting to feel very excited. So I think that once you start to program this into your mind, Scorpio, you're actually going to be really amped up about making this move, whatever this is representing for you. You're going to be excited for what's to come, right? And this is a very important way to be living our lives right now. Just being excited as much as we can for what's to come, even if what we're seeing around us or on the world stage is telling us something completely opposite. Just working with what you can control, Scorpio, is going to make such a huge difference in your energy, in your happiness, okay? And something I try to remind myself all the time is that despite how the world around us or everything external to us may look, the world's always been a crazy place, right? When you look back on history, I mean, what other generations dealt with is so much worse than what we are dealing with now. But I think the important part is to remember that it's always been there, okay? But it's up to you to fight through this and take control, full control, over what you can control. And that's you and the decisions you make, Scorpio. Let's get into the outcome. What do we have at the throat? Oh, perfect. Wheel of Fortune, Raphael. God has heals all disorders, protects travelers and medical workers, okay? So I feel, medical workers, I feel like this is just speaking about, could be literal for those of you out there who are medical workers and where that may resonate, but to me, it speaks about healers, right? You're like the divine's medical workers, okay? Protects travelers, right? So this is speaking about the fear that you've been feeling surrounding the moves. The divine saying to you, hey, we've got your back. We're going to clear the path for you. That fear you're feeling, it's all a byproduct of staying in that stuck, stagnated kind of energy, right? Hermit in reverse. Time to break out of that. Wheel of Fortune, Sag energy. This is all about your destiny. It's representing a turning point in your life. It's like you're awakening to this big picture vision, which is what I've been saying throughout this reading as well, right? That vision we have of ourselves at that future point, which is made possible by us taking action and living in the here and now as a means to make that future point a reality. This reading is now starting to all connect perfectly, Scorpios. I feel like we've been on quite the journey throughout this reading. Very, very deep, profound message coming through here for you, Scorpios. What do we have at the third eye? We're going to take both of these. Perfect. Eight of Swords, Gemini energy at the third eye. The Star, Aquarius energy at the crown. So Scorpio, this Eight of Swords, God protector and savior, truth and justice, protection from enemies who would steal one's fortune. Now, this Eight of Swords is really speaking about everything that we've been talking about here, right? It's energy of isolation, self-imposed restriction, right? That hermit in its negative polarity energy. Very similar energy to this Eight of Swords. You don't need to be here. In fact, you're not supposed to be there anymore. However this is resonating for you, I feel like there's a whole bunch of people out there that are contemplating a move or something, some sort of travel. Something is going on inside the Scorpio collective. It's very, very strong, okay? But this is also representing you facing off that shadow side of yourself, right? You're not letting it get the best of you. You didn't do all this just so God could hide you away for the rest of your life. That wasn't the point of this exercise, Scorpios. And any of you out there that are convincing yourself that you are meant to be hid away for the rest of your life needs to be very honest with yourself and start to understand that you've been cleaning that window for way too long. And if you're not careful, it's going to break. And then we have the star, Vesaria. God the just, clemency and equilibrium, protects against attacks. And this star is the energy that you step into on the other side of this, Scorpio. This is who you become. It's a complete renewal of hope. It's an energy of being in the spotlight of your life, right? Accepting that mission, whatever it may be. That spotlight can also speak about entering into the allocated position that the divine is calling you to enter into. Energy of divine guidance and inspiration, because that's what you are. That's where you're needed. There's nothing to fear, Scorpio, but fear itself. Don't allow the fear or the uncertainty of the path that the divine is opening up for you, Scorpio, to hold you back any longer. You're needed, and we can't do this without you. Remember, each one of you plays an incremental role in allowing the shift to happen in the first place. So get up and charge forward and step into this new timeline, Scorpio, because we're all waiting for you. The power is literally in the palm of your hands. So you're going to ride off into the sunset like this guy? Or you're going to become the star? Spread your wings and fly. Scorpio, this is the message I have available to you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donation, Scorpio. Take care.